The Marvel Zombies is a series that Marvel created way back in the day, and they thought it would be a lot of fun to have a zombie virus break out in the Marvel universe. Well, that series went on for a lot of trade paperbacks, eventually turning into, honestly, a pretty terrible storyline. So Marvel recently decided that they were going to reboot the entire Marvel Zombies line with Marvel Zombies Resurrection. This is the Comicstorian channel, where we take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues, your favorite movies, your favorite video games, and we break down the storylines and lore within into audio dramas, allowing you to catch up on your favorite pop culture universe while getting on with your busy day. If you want to talk about this one, please consider following me on Twitter, @Comicstorian. But either way, let's start the story. Marvel Zombies Resurrection. Deep in the darkness of space, something drifts towards Earth. At 4 Yancey Street, those that have been gathering in Reed Richards' meeting room have grown restless. "Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for coming in so quickly," Reed tells them as he answers. "Reed, why are your Wi-Fi passwords so inexplicably long?" Beast asks, playing on his phone. Tony taps a few things on his watch and tells the X-Men to try again. Beast nods in satisfaction. "Thank you. Far be it from me to complain, Reed, but what may I ask is so urgent?" Beast asks, looking up. Reed nods, leaning over his desk and activating his computer. He informs the group that 6 hours ago, Captain Marvel sent a message through one of Reed's deep space surveillance arrays. He taps the button and the message fills the room. The distorted hiss and squawks drown out most of the words, but Captain Marvel seems urgent in Reed putting together a team and getting to her location as soon as possible. "Come and see," are the last words that they hear before the message goes dead. "No offense, Reed, but what are we supposed to take from that?" Tony asks him. Reed nods, putting up another image on the screen. "Just after the transmission, I put up a virtual imaging drone on the coordinates that Captain Marvel sent." The group stares up at the grainy image of Galactus floating in space. Everyone leans forward, surprised to see the cosmic being once again returning to Earth, and Reed explains that the giant has stopped just outside of their solar system. Steve Rogers questions what Reed means by not moving. Galactus has game-changing tech. He has that tech. If he's dead, Tony tells them. If Galactus is dead, we need to destroy the body before any number of nefarious parties get to it, Beast interjects. Reed lets the group discuss for a moment before finally interrupting. The only thing that they know is that they need to know more. "I'm asking for your heaviest hitters," he tells them. "My team will go alone if need be, but given the stakes..." He doesn't finish the sentence before Captain America stands, telling him that the Avengers are in. Beast nods, giving him some of the X-Men as well. Quickly, the team of Avengers and X-Men are assembled. And with that, they load up onto one of Reed's ships and they prepare to disembark. Sue hugs her children, leaving them in the care of Spider-Man. And later, as the ship is cruising through the vastness of space, Johnny asks, "You're not scared, are you, Magic?" "No. You don't get nervous on space missions? I've lived in a literal hellscape for years. Space is fine," she tells Johnny, barely looking at him. "I was just gonna say, the Fantastic Four does this all the time, and you're gonna be totally fine," he smiles at her. Sue smacks her brother in the head for his attempt at flirting, and Ben then lets the group know that Johnny is afraid of hippos. "If you're wondering," Thor bursts out laughing, the sound filling up the small ship. "Hippos? The dirty fat things that lie in rivers?" He laughs. Johnny pouts, letting him know that hippos are way scarier than space. "Weapons hot, we're coming in," Rhodey tells them from the pilot seat. The great mass lays before them, and Captain America asks if Magneto can help them. So, Eric steps forward, reaching out his hand and rotating the giant. The cosmic being begins to roll in space until their lights play on his face. The eyes stare back at them, dead. His skin sickly gray, his mouth gaping open, his face frozen in horrors of death. "That right there is as dead gets," Wolverine notes, and Thor nods beside him. "An agonizing death as well. Look at his face." The team begins to suit up, finally letting some of the group know that they will be harvesting some of Galactus. "We're late to this party," Wolverine tells them, still looking out the viewport. "Somebody's watching us, up in the mouth. They just ducked back in." Tony turns to the rest of the group. "Terrific. Let's go, people. Somebody beat us to it." Rhodey finishes suiting up, and Cap tells him to stay behind on the ship. "Cap, I know you didn't just bring me to fly the ship. No, I brought you because I could trust you to do the hard thing. I need you equally ready for a quick evac or to come in shooting. If I give the word, be ready to blow this whole thing straight to hell." The team moves out, floating across the short space to Galactus' gaping mouth. They pass his teeth and they land on his tongue. "Place gives me the somethings. This ain't sanitary," Ben notes. Tony notes that there is an atmosphere inside of it, and Wolverine quickly begins to remove his helmet, taking in a deep breath to everyone's surprise. Smells like the inside of a dead body, but it's breathable, he tells them. There's another smell, though, beneath the rot. Something I smelled somewhere before. Reed sends out his drones, mapping the inside of Galactus' body. He's fascinated that the body is so humanoid. But Ben and Johnny quickly interrupt him. Hey, Reed! Torching me, I gotta go kick somebody's ass, alright? He asks, and Reed nods, pointing down one of the tunnels. There's a faint heat trail, probably another crew harvesting tech and tissue. We'll have to get them out before we destroy the body. On it, Johnny tells him. But Reed says that they need to harvest their own samples. They should tap into the source of Galactus' residual energy, and Cap nods, stepping forward. Okay, Tony, take your team and get what you need. Everyone else on me. Let's get this done. Cap moves through the darkness, with Magic lighting the way with her blade. Wolverine keeps sniffing shock, suddenly coming over his face. Oh no, he whispers, reaching out, shouting for Magic to stop. I remember that smell now. I know what this is. Ileana, get everyone out of here. He yells, and from the darkness in front of him, a voice groans. Logan, you came? Logan pops his claws, dropping into a combat stance, with Magic shouting into the darkness, demanding to know who is there. Come and see, the voice calls, stepping out of the shadows. Elsewhere, Sue is telling Reed that she thinks that harvesting Galactus is a bad idea. They should just go home, and Ben Grimm agrees. This place is creeping me the hell out, he grunts. Tony stops as well, realizing something and pointing to Reed on his map. Your drones show Galactus' residual energy being harnessed and routed to a specific point. Combustion, propulsions, interior sites that could use life support. Galactus has been hollowed out and converted into a spacecraft. Someone is living in this corpse. Reed nods, realizing that the residual energy isn't from Galactus. It doesn't behave like electricity. It might function like expendable energy, but it acts like an organism, he comments, pointing at the source. Johnny nods, stepping forward and lighting the section ablaze. Okay then, I'll see what's behind the curtain. In another section of the corpse, Wolverine yells for Magic, Get everyone out! That ain't Carol. Not anymore. She's already dead. She was dead when she called us here. Cap turns to Magic, ordering her to open a portal to Iron Man's position. Wolverine nods, stalking forward, claws drawn. Leave the disc open. I'll be right behind you, he calls over his shoulder, turning back to the undead Carol Danvers. I could smell you, you freak. I remember you. No, Logan. You've never known any like us. She growls as she leaps at him. We're something new. But Magic is there, swinging her blade, cutting Carol in half with the corpse falling and Ileana spitting. The Captain Marvel? Honestly, I was expecting more. The vines and the snake out of the ground, grasping Magic, pulling her away from the group, and we hear the voice in the background. We are Groot! The walls begin to cave in as more creatures appear, and Wolverine snarls, slashing at the creatures as they begin to overwhelm him. Tear your head off! Know what you are! He screams with every blow. And we know you, Logan. And soon, we'll know all of you, they call as a wave of corpses overwhelm him, their claws tearing at his suit. Elsewhere, Reed and his group step through the hole that Johnny created. Sue puts her hand on his shoulder, telling him that they can just go home. But Reed needs to see and step into the next chamber. What is it? Johnny asks as the group moves forward to the pool of bubbling liquid in the center. The group jumps as something rises out of the center of the pool, covered in the strange tendrils and vines. Oh no! Grimm yells as he sees the head of the Silver Surfer poking through the mass of flesh and tendrils. Surfer, what happened to you? He asks, and they watch as the Surfer begins to melt off of the man's body, revealing the rotten flesh beneath. The being that was the Surfer turns his blood-red eyes to the group. Come and see, he growls, leaping forward, pulling free of the pool, his teeth biting down on Johnny's throat, blood gushing outwards. The other group is overwhelmed, massive undead attacking them, and Beast screams for Magneto as the man falls. Thor, get back to the ship, Captain America orders, his shield slicing through another corpse. No, you'll fall. If you don't get back to the ship, Earth will fall, Cap screams, more hands grasping at him, and he tells Thor, hit this thing until there's nothing left. You take me for a runner, Captain? Thor asks, swinging his hammer. I took you for the defender of Midgard. Are you? Thor closes his eyes for a moment and then swings the hammer one last time, destroying 3 more of the creatures. He leaps into the air, flying away, and as he nears the open mouth of the dead Galactus, a lone figure floats in his way. The mighty gladiator of the Shi'ar Empire stands there, his skin rotting, and Thor grits his teeth, continuing forward. "Get to the ship!" Tony is yelling, firing into the masses, but his cries are cut off as one of the creatures rips his arm from his body. Sue fights, but she screams for Johnny to wake up. Reed tries to pull her away, but the two are forced to turn back as a voice calls out to them. "Sue?" Johnny asks, sitting up and staring at her with bloody eyes. "Sue, it's not what we thought." "Command." The words are cut off as Ben Grimm punches his former friend in the face, exploding his head. "Go!" he yells, throwing himself at the hordes of the undead. "The kids need their mom, Reed! Get her out of here!" Ben turns back in time to see a zombie Nova scream towards him, his punch knocking the thing to the ground. Reed escapes, pulling Sue with him. If they can get a sample, they can beat this thing, but he is suddenly slammed against an invisible wall that stops him. "You always have to see what's out there in the dark," Sue tells him, and he turns to see blood dripping from her eyes and mouth. "Well, now you've seen it, haven't you? Take a good look. Come and see, Reed." She rushes towards him, her mouth gaping open. Inside the ship, Rhodey can't get anyone on the comms, and he finally snaps down his visor, determined to get inside. He sees Thor flying out of the mouth towards him, and he moves towards the open hatch of the ship. The last moment, he sees the look of death on his friend's face, and the faces of the other zombies behind him. Thor slams into War Machine hard, sending him back into the ship, and the creatures crawl over it, tearing it apart. And all the way back on Earth, on the rooftop of 4 Yancey Street, Spider-Man is playing a game of chess with Val, while she discusses the mysteries of the universe with him. Franklin stands walking to the edge of the roof as he sees a great fireball appear over the horizon. "Guys, I see something," he tells them, and in space, the corpse of Galactus begins to heat up as it pierces the Earth's atmosphere. And that concludes Marvel Zombies Resurrection Issue 1. I hope you guys enjoyed our unique brand of telling you this story and catching you up on it. It's a great story. I enjoyed it. It's kind of got a weird, creepy space vibe to it. But now it's on Earth, and we'll see what ends up happening. What did you think about this? Did you like it, or do you like the original idea better? Either way, let me know in the comments down below, and give this video a like if you want more, basically, zombie videos, because we did Deceased, and now we're doing Marvel Zombies. We'll try to bring these out whenever they release, but that's entirely up to you. If you want it, let me know in the comments, and give this video a like I said, and follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian. Tell me, Benny, we love the zombie storylines. Either way, thank you for your time and your support. I appreciate you watching this video all the way to its completion. And if you wanted to get these videos early access, consider joining us over at Patreon at patreon.com/Comicstorian, where we release a lot of our videos early access over there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I hope you appreciated this, and I'll see you next time.